Yo, what's up? It's King Steph, and I've been watching the fall season of anime, and most of them I pretty much read the manga for, so I'm really just watching for the adaptation. And Blue Lock was the one I was nervous about the most, and seeing how 8-Bit Studio was gonna do. Simply because I've never watched anything that was created by 8-Bit. The only thing I've heard about was Slime, and I never really got around to it. So, but I've heard people say that Slime has some really cool animation, so I was just going off that, and I was nervous because I'm like, Blue Lock is obviously a football / soccer manga, so it's a lot of movement. There's a lot of things going on. I want to know how they're going to do it. And yeah, we are in episode 7 right now, and I'm like fully confident that they're going to do a really good job with this in terms of the moments and the imagery and all of that stuff. And this episode 7 was like the big test because I was waiting on Chigiri. Chigiri is really the first big moment in the series, and it's a very hype moment. It's a very emotional one too, coming off of his injury and the build up and the anticipation for him being able to finally take off those chains and use his leg. Getting over that trauma and that kind of like that roadblock of, oh, am I going to injure it again? Which I always appreciated that storyline of Chigiri, because it is how a lot of athletes who suffer severe injuries think. They are hesitant to do certain things because they don't want to suffer that pain and the injury. And then we all know, once you suffer another injury on top of a severe one like a torn ACL or MCL, your career is going to be slowly but surely dwindling down. And man, when I was watching this, it's been a while since I've been so hyped and watching it. I gotta say, even though I'm loving Chainsaw Man, and I think Chainsaw Man, once it gets into like, I guess episode 9 or something, because really after the Eternity Devil, Chainsaw Man really takes off, especially for me. But right now, Blue Lock, I've been so hyped catching up with this in Bleach, because when Chigiri takes off, and the moment, now when he first took off, I was like, okay, it's kind of slow. I thought they would depict that kind of fast, but they really don't depict his speed until he catches up to Kuon when he gets the ball. By the way, F Kuon, we don't rock with him. He tells him to move. I was like, oh, that's it right there. And then we finally get into, I guess, the Sakuga, because I'm not used to 8-Bit and how they do their Sakuga or high level animation, so I'm trying to get used to that. And when he starts to pick up speed, throws his own pass, or kicks his own pass, I should say, and catches up to it, that's a peak moment for Chigiri as a character, one of his peak moments. And then he scores and he ties it and they draw, and that means they have one more chance to go on. Big character moment for not only Chigiri, for Isagi, because Isagi was the one who kind of kept pushing Chigiri to try his best, even though he knows he's got a lot to lose with his leg. Even though you see somebody like Isagi who pushed Chigiri out of the way because he was just there. He wasn't doing anything for the team at that point. And I think that was the boiling point for Chigiri to take off and do what he just did. So we got our introduction into Team V, which is Tetsu, Ryo, and Nagi. And as someone who knows, I'm caught up to the manga, obviously, if you can't tell. But yeah, Nagi is, for people who haven't known, he's a pretty big popular character. Although I will say Tetsu is kind of like my second, and third will be Ryo. I really like Ryo mainly, honestly, at first because of his hair color. I didn't expect like a purple hair color for him when I first seen the manga, and even some of the recent like pictures, it's kind of like weird depicting him because purple is such a distinct, or like a standout color. I just didn't expect it from him, but I really rocks with it. But all I know is Team V, for people the anime only, be ready for the Team V match, because that is going to be, up until now, the best match of the entire series until we get later into it. It's going to be really good, man. It's going to be really good. Trap God Nagi, if you know about that, you know what's up. But yeah, I gotta say, the rest of the episodes, from the beginning to the end, really good. I think other than this episode, one of my favorites was probably episode 4. I want to say either episode 4 or 5, the one where the second match we beat Team Y, and you get that sequence of Bachira, Kunigami, and Isagi scoring the goal. That was my other favorite episode because I thought that was really nice and how everything came about. Also, music choice, I did because I wanted to see what the music choice is going to be. I absolutely adore that Chigiri just revving up guitar. Like, that guitar OST is fire. I hope, whenever we get the Blue Lock OST releases, man, I really like that one, because it's like the guitar kept picking up as Chigiri was picking up in speed. Really, really cool moment. Voice acting has been really good. I think every character's voice actor is pretty spot on and perfect, especially Ego Jinpachi. We all know his voice is very standouty. And it's really interesting to see kind of like, you know, the anime only's their reaction to Ego, because Ego doesn't really come off as he's like a coach, but he's also kind of like just a spectator who kind of is just like looking over the events. So it's kind of interesting to see like how people react to him, because he is really different in terms of how he's executed as like a figure, or just a head figure in the whole Japan soccer scene. But yeah, man, I'm so happy to see this adaptation be really good, and I'm going to right now put it as my #2 favorite, just because Blue Lock holds like a special part to me, because it's the first sports manga that got me into sports manga and anime, which is weird because normally it's like the other way around. This isn't typically the series I would get someone into, you know, sports or whatever, but it did for me in terms of the whole anime manga stuff. So yeah, every Saturday I'm just looking forward to Blue Lock and, you know, everything that's come about. But if you enjoyed this video and just me being a fan, you know, going over this stuff, hit me with a like and subscribe. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Peace.